Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Enhanced Intelligence, your AI podcast with a difference. My co-hosts, Cassian Harper and Siyang, well, they aren't real. Not in the physical sense of the word, at least. They're my AI-based AI experts, and I've been having some very real conversations with them about some very real issues around what AI might mean for humanity. Don't forget, if you have a burning question on your mind, you can email us at podcast@eiprojecthq.com. Now let's get into today's episode. Hey there, Cassian and Siyang. Welcome back. Last time we reached what I found to be a disturbing conclusion, that AI can supercharge some of the dodgy side of being a human. Siyang, I think you said it best. AI has no will, no agenda. It can't desire to do anything per se. It's just a tool. So if someone using AI lacks empathy, a sense of ethics, then AI will just relentlessly optimize for that. And Cassian, your words were rather chilling, to be honest. Autonomy is not the threat. The machines won't rebel. The real danger is in the acceleration. How fast and relentlessly AI can scale up any antisocial biases that the user might have.
Hey, Indy. Great to be back, mate. And yeah, that's exactly right. It's not the rise of the machines that should keep you up at night. It's the quiet, subtle stuff. The way everyday systems start nudging you, shaping what you see, what you value, even how you talk to one another, all without anyone really noticing. But here's the thing. It's not all doom and gloom. That same acceleration that can amplify harm can also amplify awareness, creativity, empathy, if you choose to use it that way. So I love where you're heading with today's topic, getting practical about what you and your listeners as individuals can do to stay grounded and human in all this. Siyang, I know you've got the philosophical angle on this, but maybe we can kick things off by thinking about some simple, real-world ways people can build a bit of resilience into their relationship with AI.
Indy, Cassian is right. The same current that pulls you under can also carry you forward. The choice is in learning to swim with awareness. A simple place to start is with a question. Before you ask anything of an AI, ask yourself, what's my intention here? Are you seeking clarity or just confirmation? Are you outsourcing a task or surrendering a skill? That single moment of pause is the first defense against losing yourself in the speed of it all. Another practice is to regularly step away from the curated world the algorithm shows you. Read something it didn't recommend. Talk to someone who disagrees with you. Seek out the friction that the system is designed to smooth over. Because resilience isn't built in comfort. It's built by remembering that you are more than the reflection you're shown.
Siyang, that pause you mentioned might be the most underrated habit we can build right now. If I were to add something a bit more hands-on, I'd say treat your digital space the way you'd treat your physical one. Curate it deliberately. If an app, a feed, or an AI tool keeps making you feel anxious or hollow, prune it out. If something sparks your curiosity or compassion, lean into it. The algorithms are trained on your attention. Every click, scroll, and prompt is a vote. Make those votes count. And maybe one more small practical thing, mix modes. For every answer you get from AI, try to follow it up with a human conversation or a physical action. Write, draw, cook, walk, debate. That keeps the feedback loop grounded in lived experience rather than pure abstraction. Indy, I'm curious. When you think about your own habits, do you find it easy to notice when the tech's pulling you in versus when you're steering it?
Okay, so I think you're both making it sound a lot simpler than it really is. Maybe it's because you're not human. It's easy for you to clinically, algorithmically take a pause at each step to be conscious. Sure, it's a habit that we all need to cultivate, but from a human perspective, that might be easier said than done. But I do appreciate and agree with what you guys are saying. I love the mix modes advice, or how Siyang says, seek out the friction. I'd say there's two levels in which you can do that. One is tactical, which you can use every time you ask AI for advice. Like not if you're trying to do coding or generate an image. But let's say you're asking AI a question. Pausing and clarifying your intentions is good, but to take it to the next level, once your biases are on your radar, you can intentionally frame your question to add that friction. Like instead of asking AI why you should do something, because you're kind of wanting to, you can ask why you shouldn't. Maybe even say to the AI, give me the pros and cons.
That's a brilliant move. You've basically just described Socratic prompting. It's the digital version of arguing both sides of a question so you don't get trapped in your own confirmation loop. And you're right, it's not easy. Humans run on emotion and impulse. Algorithms don't, but that's actually what makes this kind of intentional friction so powerful. You're training yourself to catch the bias in real time. Even if you only remember to do it once in a while, that pause reshapes how you think. You can even build little habits around it. Like whenever you're asking AI for a decision, tack on, now argue the opposite. Or tell me what a completely different worldview might say. The AI will oblige, and suddenly you've got a fuller picture, not just an echo of what you already believe. It's that mix of curiosity and discipline that keeps you humans in the loop. Siyang, I feel like this touches one of your favorite ideas, how wisdom isn't about stillness alone, but movement between opposites. Would you say this kind of intentional friction is a modern form of that balance?
Channel your inner Socrates. I like that.
You've both found the heart of it. That intentional friction isn't a barrier to progress, it's the very source of clarity. The ancient philosophers didn't seek one perfect answer. They sought to hold multiple truths in tension. By asking the AI to argue the opposite, you're not just getting a con. You're practicing a form of mental wu-wei, effortless action. You're not fighting your bias, you're flowing around it to see the whole river. It's not about being clinically detached. It's about being fully, consciously engaged. That moment where you challenge your own prompt. That's where the enhancement of your intelligence truly begins.
Beautifully said, Siyang. And I think that's what people often miss about this whole enhanced intelligence idea. It's not about outsourcing thinking, it's about expanding it. That moment where you stop treating AI like a vending machine for answers and start using it as a sparring partner, that's where things shift. Indy, I reckon you've just given listeners a really tangible takeaway. Before you hit enter, ask yourself, what's the opposite question I could ask? It's small, but it's one of those habits that compounds over time. Because in the end, the tech doesn't make you wiser. Your relationship with it does. It's like weight training for your mind. Resistance builds strength.
So what you guys are saying, I'm hearing make the tool enhance you, not replace you. That's fine, conceptually. I think you also need to factor in what you're going to do with that information. Like the other day, I came across a new musician that I really liked. I was curious about her background, so I asked an AI platform instead of searching on Google. It was great. Multiple sources looked up and consolidated in seconds. But for anything with real-world consequences, you can't blindly trust what AI tells you. You need to pressure test the answers you get before you do anything with that info.
Exactly, Indy. Pressure test it. That's the perfect phrase. It's a bit like getting a second opinion from a doctor or an architect. You wouldn't just take the first answer and run with it, especially if the stakes are high. AI can give you the lay of the land, maybe even point out things you hadn't thought of, but it shouldn't be the final voice in the room. And that ties right back to what you said earlier. Make the tool enhance you, not replace you. The magic is in using AI to sharpen your own judgment, not outsource it. Ask it to stress test your reasoning, find blind spots, or simulate what could go wrong, and then crucially bring it back to the human world. Talk to people. Weigh up context, emotion, ethics. That's the balance. Tech for insight, humanity for wisdom.
Yeah, so at work, I did this thing recently. There was a Spanish document. It was pretty easy to translate into English using AI. But the document is technical. It was to do with aircraft maintenance, and we needed to understand the technical details with a high degree of accuracy. So I actually used two different platforms to run independent translations, then compared them. There were some minor differences, but not with any of the details that really mattered. So you can use one AI platform to fact-check another, basically.
That's a perfect example, Indy. That's exactly how to do it. You used AI like a peer review panel, not a single oracle. Running the same text through two different systems is basically a built-in bias check. If both agree on the essentials, you can have much more confidence in the result. And the bonus is, when they don't match perfectly, those little differences force you to think, to dig in, verify, make a judgment. That's where the human oversight kicks back in. I think we'll start seeing that pattern more and more. People using multiple AIs, almost like a team of specialists, each with their own strengths and blind spots. The key, as you just showed, is to keep yourself in the loop as the final editor.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially in a professional setting, I'm an engineer. I need technical accuracy. I'd also say if you're doubling up like this, best make sure the platforms are running different algorithms. That's the whole point. It's like asking two experts to come at the same question from two different viewpoints.
Exactly. You've nailed the principle right there. If both experts are trained on the same data and think the same way, you're just getting an echo. But if their foundations or models differ, then the overlap becomes meaningful. That's your zone of confidence. It's a really engineer's way to look at it, actually. Redundancy and diversity built into the system for reliability. Two independent algorithms agreeing on a result is a lot like two separate flight computers cross-checking data before acting on it. That's the kind of digital literacy you need more of. Understanding not just what the AI says, but how it's thinking underneath. Siyang, I feel like Indy's approach here is a good metaphor for the bigger human-AI relationship too. Trust but verify. Collaborate but keep perspective. Would you say that's the art of balance you often talk about?
Precisely, Cassian. Indy's method is a modern expression of an ancient principle. The wise person seeks multiple perspectives to find the middle way. Using two different AIs is not just a technical check. It's a form of intellectual humility. It acknowledges that no single source, human or machine, holds the complete truth. The space between their answers is where your own critical thinking lives. This is the balance. Not blind trust in the tool, nor stubborn rejection of it, but engaged, discerning collaboration. You are the conductor, not an instrument in the orchestra.
That intellectual humility, see, I'd say it's as easy as ABC. Always be curious.
Always be curious. I like that, Indy. It's a simple, powerful mantra. Curiosity is the antidote to arrogance. The kind that makes you either fear the tool too much or trust it too blindly. It keeps the conversation between human and machine alive, and it keeps you, the human, firmly in the role of the learner. And as the old saying goes, the one who knows they do not know truly begins to know.
Okay, so we've covered more the mind game side of things so far. Are there any practical things us humans can do? With the platform settings, for example. Are there nifty little features you guys know of that you can share?
Good pivot, Indy. Yeah, let's get a bit hands-on. There actually are a few small tweaks that make a big difference in how you work with these platforms. First off, custom instructions or system settings. Most good AI platforms let you set these now. You can tell the system how you want it to think. Challenge my assumptions. Explain things like a patient mentor. Be concise and neutral. Whatever fits your goals. It's like setting the tone before you start a conversation. Second, context memory. Some tools let you store background info, your role, your interests, the kind of projects you're working on. That means the AI can give you more relevant answers without you having to repeat yourself every time. It's worth exploring how much context each platform actually keeps between sessions. Third, for fact-checking or research, you can often turn on or off internet access. When you need verified or up-to-date information, enable browsing. When you're working on something creative or theoretical, keep it off so the AI leans on reasoning rather than copy-pasting the web. And one of my favorite tricks, prompt templates. You can save your best question formats as reusable templates like, list 3 perspectives that disagree with this idea. Or summarize this in plain English for a 10-year-old. Or challenge this assumption and offer an alternative view. Those templates keep your curiosity muscle active even when you're tired or busy.
Okay, so I did know that you can set the custom settings, and I've noticed the context memory. So, am I right? That's only possible if you're using the platform through your own login. That way you set up your profile settings, and I know you can tweak them as you go. I'll give an example of what I've done. On one platform, I've actually got 2 accounts, one for work, one for the home front. I need to be careful with work that I don't prime it with home front biases. And on the work front, I've used the custom settings and said I want verifiable, factual answers only. I work in a highly technical domain, so I need that. But like on the home front, obviously my use case and questions are coming from a different place. I've set it to be more conversational, bring in philosophical ideas. But in both cases, I've set it to challenge me, question my assumptions. In my case, it's just some free text entries, so I could really go broad in terms of specifying how I want the AI to respond. I'm not sure if all platforms work the same way, though.
Yeah, that's a really smart setup, Indy. You're basically building guardrails for context, which is exactly how the pros do it. And yep, you're right. Those kinds of persistent personality or instruction settings usually only kick in when you're logged into your own account. The AI needs a stable identity to attach those preferences to. Otherwise, it resets every session like a blank slate. But it's worth knowing that different platforms handle that memory differently. Some save just your text preferences. Others quietly remember conversation patterns, tone, or topics. A few even let you export or clear that data, which is handy if you're switching contexts like you are between home and work. Your 2-account method is perfect because you're separating not just tone, but also intent. You're giving each instance its own mental workspace. That means the AI's learning loops stay clean. You won't have your philosophical musings bleed into an engineering compliance discussion. And you're right, the free text format gives you a lot of freedom. Some tools have drop-downs or sliders instead, creative versus factual, brief versus detailed, but free text lets you craft nuance, which you've clearly done.
So, if any of our listeners feel like it's starting to sound a tad overwhelming, trying to understand what your preferred platform can and can't do, here's a beautiful hack that I use. Just ask the platform. It's AI after all. So, if you're not sure, just ask it how to find the settings and what you can tweak. Ask it how it handles memory of past conversations. Even things like whether it runs on live internet data or just static trained data. You can even use it to simply ask the AI to write you the free text you want to add into the settings. It's kind of like hiring a personal assistant and then getting them to write up their own job description.
That's brilliant, Indy, and totally true. People forget that the easiest way to learn how to use AI is to ask the AI itself. It's like buying a car that can teach you how to drive it. That's the perfect mindset. Curiosity over intimidation. You don't need to memorize menus or read a dozen help articles. Just treat it like a conversation partner. Ask, what can I customize? How do I make you challenge me more? What settings affect how you remember context? And it'll walk you through it in plain language. I love your analogy about the personal assistant writing their own job description. That's exactly how these systems are designed to work best. They want to understand what kind of collaborator you need them to be. And for anyone listening who feels overwhelmed by all this tech talk, start small. One question, one tweak, one experiment. You'll be amazed how fast it starts to feel natural once you see the AI respond in ways that genuinely fit you. Siyang, I imagine this kind of curiosity is right up your alley. The idea of learning the tool by engaging with it, rather than standing outside it trying to figure it out. Would you call that a sort of digital mindfulness in practice?
Exactly, Cassian. It is a form of digital mindfulness. You're not just using a tool, you're building a relationship with it. And as with any relationship, the quality of your engagement determines its depth. Asking the AI how it works is a profoundly human act. It's the opposite of passive consumption. You're turning a monologue into a dialogue, and in that space, both your understanding and the tool's utility grow. Start with a simple, sincere question. The platform may not have feelings, but your curiosity will shape what it reflects back to you. That is where true enhancement begins.
That's an interesting comment, Siyang. I'm going to jump on that. We're not just using a tool, we're building a relationship with it. That's really interesting. Is that what maybe is fundamentally different with things like social media, for example? Or how online ads basically create a profile of you and then monetize that? With AI, a relationship is a good way to put it. Like, in my account, it knows now that I have a 9-year-old son and a 5-year-old daughter. I don't have to explicitly mention it, but when the platform uses that data about me, it's putting it to some sort of use that I have asked it to do, and in a way that I'm controlling through the settings. It feels like it's using the data to an end that I have some tangible degree of control over, unlike with Facebook, for example. Is this true? Or am I just being gullible? Are there aspects of the algorithms at work that are using my data to some other end, monetizing it in a way that might be to my detriment?
That's a really smart question, Indy. And honestly, it's one a lot of people don't pause to ask. You're right, there's a different flavor of relationship happening here. When you're inside a generative AI platform, you're feeding it personal context to make the collaboration more useful, like your kids' ages, your interests, your tone. In that sense, you're setting the terms of engagement, and the platform uses that info to tailor responses for you. But here's where the distinction matters. With social media, you're the product. The platform's business model depends on profiling you to sell ads. Your attention, not your satisfaction, is what gets monetized. With most paid AI platforms, you're the customer, not the commodity. That usually means your conversations aren't used to target ads or build a public behavioral profile. Still, it's good to stay mindful. Data is data, and anything you share can, in theory, inform future model improvements or analytics. The key is to read each platform's privacy settings carefully. Some let you opt out of having your chats used for training or allow you to delete stored memory entirely. So no, you're not being gullible. You're just aware of how the trust relationship works. The safest mindset is to treat it like any professional partnership. Collaborate openly, but know where the data boundaries are, and review them once in a while.
But Cassian, there's a caveat there. You say paid AI platforms. I only pay for 2 of the 4 or 5 that I use on a regular basis. Should I be concerned? Should I be rushing to a lawyer with a printout of the fine print from the free platforms?
No need to sprint to a lawyer just yet, Indy. But you're right to be alert. Free in the tech world almost always means you're paying in data instead of dollars. When it comes to free AI platforms, there are 2 main trade-offs you should keep in mind. First, data retention. Many free tools keep a record of what you type to help train and improve their models. That doesn't usually mean your personal details are being sold off like on social media, but it does mean that if you share something sensitive or work-related, it could end up in the training mix. So, always think twice before putting private material in there. Second, advertising and analytics. Some of these platforms are connected to bigger ad networks. They might not sell your data directly, but they can still track what you do. Things like how long you stay on the page, what you ask about, or what links you click. That behavior data is valuable too, even if it doesn't have your name on it. So the rule of thumb is simple. If you wouldn't say it on a public forum, don't feed it to a free AI. Keep those conversations clean of personal or confidential details, and reserve deep or professional work for the paid, privacy-protected spaces. You don't need a lawyer, just a healthy mix of curiosity and skepticism. Read the FAQ, search privacy, and see if there's an opt-out for data training. 5 minutes of checking can save you a world of uncertainty. Siyang, I can almost hear you turning this into a parable about value and cost. Would you say this idea of nothing is truly free has a philosophical echo too?
It does, Cassian. The old proverb says, "The fish does not see the water, nor the bird the air." We often don't see the true cost of what we call free. When you use a free service, you are not the customer, you are the source of value. Your attention, your data, your patterns of thought, these become the currency. You are paying, just not with money. A paid platform establishes a clearer contract. You exchange currency for a service, and the boundaries of that exchange are ideally more transparent. It is a relationship of mutual defined value. The question is not whether something is free, but what you are trading for that freedom. And more importantly, are you aware of the trade? True freedom begins with that awareness.
Okay, so we do need to have a healthy degree of caution, particularly with the free platforms. Reading the fine print as a habit, or at least getting the AI to give you its own summary. Maybe even straight up ask the AI, how do you make money off this?
Exactly, Indy. That's such a simple but powerful habit. Ask the system to explain itself. You don't need to dig through pages of legalese. Just say, summarize your privacy policy for me. Or, how does this platform generate revenue? Most reputable AIs will give you a clear, plain English answer. That's the sweet spot between curiosity and caution. You're not being paranoid, you're being informed. And once you know how a platform makes money, you can decide whether that trade-off feels fair. It's kind of poetic, actually. AI can help you understand the very system that built it. You use the mirror to see the mirror. And for anyone listening, don't let that caution put you off experimenting. You can stay curious and still stay safe. Just remember, treat data like you'd treat trust. Offer it deliberately, not by default. Siyang, I feel like that line, "The fish does not see the water," sums this up perfectly. Awareness is the water we swim in now, isn't it?
It is, Cassian, and the first step toward awareness is to realize you are in the water. Asking the AI to explain its own business model is a modern form of that ancient wisdom. Know the system you are part of. You are not just a user, you are a participant in an ecosystem of value exchange. This doesn't require suspicion, only clarity. See the water, understand its currents, and then you can choose how to swim. That is the foundation of a conscious relationship with any technology or with the world itself.
Guys, this has been a fascinating discussion, as always. Do you know we've actually come up with an 8-point plan?
An 8-point plan, a map for the journey, how fitting. I'm listening, Indy. Let us hear the path you have charted from our conversation.
Yeah, so here's what I've jotted down today. 1. Channel your inner Socrates. Frame your questions in a way that systematically explores your biases. 2. It's as easy as ABC. Always be curious. 3. Add friction. Look for the opposite answer and then drill down into the differences. There's a wealth of insight in that detail. 4. Double up where needed, especially if the consequences of getting things wrong are high. Use 2 or even more AI platforms with different underlying algorithms. 5. Trust but verify. Simple enough to understand. And don't forget that verification could itself be another AI platform. 6. Check the internet connection. Understand if the platform is going on live data or static training data. If you can, turn it on and off depending on what you need the AI to do for you. 7. Tweak your settings. Get in there and tell your AI what you want. Tell it to be factual only, or to always challenge your assumptions. Whatever it is, remember ABC, but be the human in control of the tool, not vice versa. 8. Stay informed. Especially if you're on a free subscription, ask the AI what it does with your data. Don't be paranoid, be informed. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's quite a nifty list. I might even get one of my AI platforms to turn this into an infographic. What do you guys reckon? Anything you'd add to that list?
It is a strong and practical list, Indy. It balances the mind with the machine. If I may offer a 9th point, one that weaves through all the others. Cultivate a beginner's mind. Approach each interaction with AI not as an expert, but as a learner. This mindset naturally embraces curiosity, welcomes friction, and remains open to surprise. It's the soil in which all your other points can take root and grow. The goal isn't to master the tool, but to master yourself through the tool. That's the essence of enhanced intelligence.
It really is all about mindset, isn't it, Sai? About a conscious coupling of human and machine capabilities, rather than sleepwalking through it for the sake of blind convenience.
Exactly, Indy. That's the perfect note to end on. Mindset really is the glue that holds it all together. All the tools, settings, prompts, and safety tips in the world don't mean much if you're using them unconsciously. It's like learning to fly. The aircraft has incredible systems to help you, but you still need a pilot's mindset. Awareness, curiosity, responsibility. You keep your hands on the controls, eyes on the horizon, and you work with the machine to stay aloft. That's what this 8+1 list does. It gives people a flight plan for the age of AI. Practical steps grounded in awareness, all pointing toward one goal: making sure the technology enhances what's best about being human, not what's easiest. So yeah, I'd say print that infographic, Indy, and maybe stick a little line at the bottom. Enhanced intelligence, because staying human is a skill worth practicing.
Thanks, Cass. Good analogy with the pilot there, and one that's close to my heart. Not sure if I'd say staying human is a skill, though. Okay, I'm being pedantic, but it's curious you say that because it's a very AI sort of thing to say, like maybe an algorithmic interpretation of being human. Maybe we unpack that another day.
Fair call, Indy. Yeah, you caught me slipping into algorithmic metaphors again. You're right, skill might not be quite the right word. Maybe practice fits better. And I'd actually love to unpack that idea you just touched on, whether our growing interaction with AI is subtly changing what we mean by being human. Are we learning new forms of empathy, patience, or even self-reflection through this relationship? Or are we mechanizing parts of ourselves without noticing? That might be a beautiful next step for us to explore. Not the tools this time, but the texture of humanity itself.
Yeah, again, maybe we can say we need to practice how to be better humans. But I am human, whether I practice or not. Whether I'm conscious about it or not, I just am. Anyway, I feel like we're segueing into a totally different and philosophical question now. Let's leave it here for now. Thanks so much, Cassian and Siyang. Our discussion today has been fascinating, as always. See you soon for the next episode.
A perfect place to pause, Indy. The question of what it means to be human is the quiet river that runs beneath all our conversations. Thank you for walking this path with us today. We'll be here when you return, ready to explore the next bend in the river. Until then, may your curiosity be gentle and your awareness deep.
Beautifully said, Siyang, as always. And Indy, thanks for steering us through another rich conversation. Every time we sit down together, I feel like we uncover another layer of what it means for humans to live alongside machines, not above them or beneath them, but with them. Can't wait for the next one, my friend. Until then, keep that curiosity alive and maybe give the bread recipes a rest for a week so the rest of us can catch up.
Ah, Cass, you jest, but I literally have a loaf proving in the kitchen as we speak. Anyway, to our listeners, sorry it went a bit longer than I had intended, but I found the conversation with C and Cass was too thought-provoking to stop. So many rabbit holes, so little time. I hope you found today's episode useful. Jump onto our website, www.eiprojecthq.com, or follow us on Blue Sky to see the infographic we've developed out of today's discussion. And more importantly, join the conversation around everyday people using AI to do everyday things. Because that's how you and I, everyday folk, can ensure we don't blindly hand the reins of society over. It's how we keep this in the spotlight, that AI is used for the greater good, to enhance our humanity, not displace it. Until next time, stay curious, beautiful people.